Welcome back to challengeyourself.blog. I had a request for a short tutorial on Fusion 360, so I thought I'd throw something together to help with that. There are a lot of free videos for Fusion 360 on YouTube. There's a whole channel dedicated to, I would say, more advanced techniques, but if you're just wanting to dive in and get up and going, this should help with doing that. So Fusion 360 for hobbyists is free, so you can go to the Autodesk website, download it. If you try to use this for commercial purposes, I don't recommend that, so that could be a legal issue for you, so be advised ahead of time. So let's get started with this. So you've got your axes on the upper right. I pick the sketch button, then I choose which axis I'm going to actually be drawing on. I do a simple box, so I just point and click, point to point. I finish the sketch, I extrude using the button in the upper left, and I hit OK, and I've got my first box. You'll see that there's a body 1 in this assembly. It's like a top level assembly. I'll just call the box 1, and then I will create another box on top of that. I'll pick the same axis again. I'll just go from corner to corner, and I will finish the sketch. I'll do the same extrusion. This time it'll ask on the right whether I want to join or create a new body, cut, intersect, or new component. I'm going to pick a new body this time. And when I hit OK, this will create body 2 in the main assembly. Now I've got two boxes stacked on top of each other. I'll hide the first one. I'll do basically the exact same thing I did before, point to point, hit finish sketch, extrude again, and then I'm going to hit join, or I'll leave join as default, and what that does is it merges basically what I just drew with the previous body. Now when I unhide the second body that I created, I can move it with the arrow button moving icon. Move it out of the way. I will create another body, but I'll point out that there's a few different selections under create and modify. Show and tell, there's under the create menu a whole bunch of selections for some more advanced type bodies. Under modify, you can do things like chamfer, different fillet or fillet, I think it's fillet. So I pick one corner, I do fillet on one side, I do chamfer on the other, and works out very well. You can do a little bit more advanced chamfering. I'll save that for a different video. You can find that within the chamfer function itself. So this time I'm going to move the box from point to point. As you can see, it snaps together very nicely, and the two boxes are now stacked on top of each other. So I'll create another box. This time I'm going to pick a different axis. Now it's important to note that sometimes when you create a sketch, it may not pick the closest face to you. It may pick the back one. So be mindful of that when you're doing a lot of sketches, because if you have a very complex sketch, you can end up making something that's offset by a lot of millimeters or inches, depending on what what units you end up using. But that's something to be very mindful of. Now this time I'm going to do a triangle, and I'm going to do it in individual segments instead of using the box. So I'll go from the corner to another point, do my 90, and this time when I select the face, I actually have to select two faces because the two boxes are separate bodies, and that's just kind of how the faces end up. If you get into something very complex, it can get kind of messy, so be mindful of that too. I'm going to create a new body, or new component, excuse me. I'm going to create a new component, and you can see that there's now a subassembly under the main assembly with a new body, and I'll rename that body as triangle. And then, just to demonstrate, I will move the one box over to the new subassembly. It took me a while to figure out how to do that because it does not drag and drop. That I don't know why they don't let you do that. Maybe they've done that in the last few months, but it's been a while since I've made any new drawings, but you could definitely not just drop stuff. You can create new assemblies and sub-assemblies that stack underneath each other, so I don't know if there's actually a limit to how many sub-assemblies you can have. I've done multiple layers of sub-assemblies, and I haven't really reached a limit. For the slicing program that I use for my 3D printer, all I have to do is right-click and do Save as Mesh, and I've got all my settings set up now for a CNC machine. I'm not sure if you have to export the drawing in one of the file extensions that Fusion 360 has, or if you export it as like the slicing program. I'm not really sure. I haven't dug into that part yet, but if you were just looking to get into Fusion 360, this should be a very quick tutorial to get into it and start messing around with, drawing simple shapes and stuff. So that's about it for a quick tutorial on Fusion 360. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and I will see you all next time.